but let's just stick with Supercross. Jeremy, Carmichael, or James for Supercross, and why?
I'm going to have to go with Bruce.
Back at the Lucas Oil Studios, Freak Nation, Speed Freaks on a Sunday night, celebrating 22 years of doing this. The official date, of course, is the 25th of June, but after 22 years, you have to dedicate 2 shows to it. We're going to put a pause on celebrating 22 years because our next guest here in the Freak Nation, Levi Kitchen, this dude wasn't even born yet when we started this damn show. Levi Kitchen making a whole lot of noise last week in Denver, the Lucas Oil MotoCross series. He joins us now in the Freak Nation. You were still in your mom's womb 22 years ago, weren't you, Levi?
Yeah, I suppose.
I wonder, how old was your mom 22 years ago?
Oh boy.
She may be careful, Levi. She may not want that out. You may.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, regardless, motocross pilot Levi Kitchen joining us here in the Lucas Oil Studios. And Levi, let's talk about last week where you recently turned professional. What was it, last year where you turned pro, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there in 15th spot in a lot of your motos, and then bam, you roll out with the lead on the first moto in Denver, and you hold on to it and grab yourself a number 1 in that first moto. Tell me that you were surprised, or if not, tell me that you knew this was coming.
I mean, I knew I was capable, obviously. And I don't know, it just took, the confidence and stuff like that. And once I could get up front on the start, that I could hold on to it. So once I put myself up front like that, I wouldn't say I was really surprised. I was honestly more surprised at how easy it was, to be honest.
Whoa!
Wow!
Right, Levi Kitchen, Lucas Oil Motocross, outdoor motocross pilot, joining us here in the Freak Nation. You talk about how easy it is. Well, that start is not easy. It's a land rush start where you've got so many bikes trying to get that number 1 spot. Once you get out front, and we've asked this of many riders, once you get out front, there's a sense of ease. I didn't say easiness, but a sense of ease, knowing that you don't have to fight those other riders to try and work your way back up. There's just a sensibility about yourself on that bike when you're up front right after that first turn. Is that true?
Yes, sir, 100%. Yeah, once you get out front, as far as the racing and racecraft goes, it becomes a lot easier for sure. I'd say the hardest part is just staying mentally focused and not letting, it's hard not to look back and see certain people and, think that they should almost be ahead of you, I guess you could say, because they've been beating you so much. So I'd say just the mental side of it's the only hard part, but as far as the racing goes, it's pretty easy.
Levi Kitchen, I looking back through some of your research on Father's Day weekend, you said you were getting ready to go to work for your dad, who was an electrician. You were putting on the belt and going out there, and you got off the couch and just went riding. You must have had a lot of experience.
I mean,
a lot of confidence. You must have had a lot of confidence.
Yeah. I don't know. That was probably, 4 years ago or so when I decided to make the switch and start, putting in a lot of work to this sport and stuff like that. So there for a while, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, whether I was going to race or, help my dad out and stuff like that. Because I was in the town of Washougal, pretty small town. There's a track there, but then I ended up moving to Louisiana and started training. And yeah, now I'm here.
When did the light come on? This is one of my favorite questions to ask new riders or drivers. When did the light come on? What flipped the switch that said, hey, I can do this?
Honestly, just I don't know. I mean, a lot of people had told me I could do it. And then also in 2018, I went to Loretta Lynn's as an amateur and ended up getting second there without training or anything. And I was like, well, imagine if I actually put in, the time and effort. So I would say that was kind of it.
And one of the things that I love this, in fact, I made a note of it. Let me get this right. Correct me if I'm wrong. You said hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work that hard. I had to write that down because I didn't know I believed in that so much. And it sounds like you're saying the same thing.
Yeah. There for a while, you could say that I was running on pure talent, which I was. And then, yeah, you add hard work to that. And then that's about as good as it gets, really. If you got talent and you can work, I don't think you're going to beat that.
All right. His name is Levi Kitchen, joining us from Lucas Oil Studios. Won the first Moto last week in Denver, the Lucas Oil outdoor season. Now, hold on just a second. I knew you're from Washington. Are you actually from Washougal?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Bro, you act like that's not even on the map, brother. I'm not going to say that's like the Daytona 500 of NASCAR, but growing up at a track that has such legendary races as Washougal, don't act like that's just a freaking podunk town, bro. That's like the creme de la creme for a lot of outdoor riders, buddy.
Yeah, I shouldn't say. As far as racing goes, it is definitely a well-known town, but it's not a big town, is what I meant. As far as I guess it's getting sort of big, but
listen, Bristol. Yeah, Bristol for NASCAR isn't a big town, but people love to race Bristol. Washougal's not a big town, but riders would love to run Washougal.
Yeah, fair enough.
When you were growing up, did you used to go to some of the races and say, I want to do that one day?
Yeah, no, I did. I went and watched, I think it was Stewart in like 07 or something like that. Yeah, I mean, growing up, I always went there and we were always around it. My dad raced and stuff like that. And that's pretty much where I grew up riding. I had a trail from my house down to the track. So I would ride down to the track and do some laps sometimes.
Wow.
Hey, Stat, hold on just a second. This leads into a great question I've never asked anyone because I haven't found anyone that's grown up in a motocross specific town when it comes to Washougal. When you're growing up around the outdoors like you did with Washougal, when you saw your first Supercross race live, tell me, did the lights come on then, or was it like, this scares the hell out of me, or I want to stay outdoors, or I want to do both? What did Levi say when he first saw his first Supercross race live?
It would have been Seattle, and I don't know. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was a little guy, so I don't remember much of it, but no, I always knew I wanted to do it, and it was more just like, when I was that young, I want to just be one of those guys looking up to Carmichael and those guys. That's actually why my original number was 47, because I liked Carmichael and Stewart so much, so I just combined their numbers. Wow. But yeah, I mean, it was always a dream of mine, but it was kind of hard to keep telling myself like I could do it because I wasn't sure if I could, but.
Whatever you do, General Tire delivers.
Well, Levi, listen, buddy. You think you're such a badass? Can you see what's over my right shoulder? Can you see those pants?
Yeah, I can.
Do you know who's
got to be Carmichael's or Reed?
No, Carmichael's after he ran Dallas in 2006. I'm a big Longhorn fan. He said, Sergeant, if I win that race, I'm giving you my freaking threads. Dig that, brother, over my shoulder. Sweet, huh?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have that stuff at home. Don't even act like you're in a freaking hotel room. I got freaking pants over my shoulder.
Yeah, I don't got that.
Stat, I know you got a couple other questions, but since we're there, we're always fascinated, and I'm not going to share with you what the answers that we've gotten recently over the last two years. We ask, leave all the wins and championships behind, but if I give you Carmichael, James Stewart, and Jeremy McGrath, who in your mind was the greatest Supercross, motocross rider of all time? Leave the wins and the championships behind. Those three. All right, let's just because I know Jeremy didn't have that much success in outdoor, but let's just stick with Supercross. Jeremy, Carmichael, or James for Supercross, and why?
I'm gonna have to go with Stewart. just because, I mean, even, yeah, I like Ricky and we live right where he trained now. But I would just say I don't know, the guy was just so damn talented. And he, like, if he knew he could jump something, he would, you know, his timing was insane. So, like, you didn't see that guy. I mean, I know he crashed a fair amount, but as far as, you know, if he wanted to do something, he usually did it.
Right.
And his whoop speed was incredible too. It was unmatched.
Levi Kitchen, Supercross, Motocross, won his first Moto last weekend. I want to follow me here for a minute. I don't do this often, but I have a theory that I've learned about drivers, that speed is the first thing. First of all, you have to learn how to be fast. You have to learn how to compete. Then you have to learn how to finish. Then you have to learn how to win, and win on purpose, not just because everybody crashed in front of you. And then you have to learn how to win a championship. Now, speed seems to be the most significant thing that's happening in motocross and supercross right now. James had speed. Is that what you learned from him first before all the other things in that list?
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, that definitely stood out the most from him, but also, yeah, that was the difference between somebody like him and Carmichael. You know, they're both very successful, but Ricky knew how to win, and he won majority of the time, whereas, you know, Stewart always had the speed, if not more speed than anybody else, but just couldn't quite put it all together sometimes. So that's a big thing. And like, even the first 2 rounds outdoors this year, I kept telling everybody, I know I have the speed, whatever, but I couldn't get off the damn starting line. So it didn't show until last weekend.
Now, I learned that, in fact, some writers have mentioned here on the Freak Nation that they didn't worry about James even when he was winning championships, because they knew they couldn't beat him. But they said James was going to crash, and that the gamble was let him go out there and be fast. Are you worried that maybe that might be your future, that just go out there and be fast and hope you don't crash until the end?
I'm not too worried about that. No, I think I'm a fairly smart rider, but I also wouldn't, as bad. I mean, we don't like crashing, but I wouldn't mind being that guy. I mean, the dude was incredibly fast. So, yeah, and he did win a lot of races. So, I don't know. I don't worry too much about that being me, though. No.
Yeah, the minute you you throw your leg over that bike, you know, speed and technique, it's either second nature or you just get the hell out of the way.
Yeah,
man, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Buddy, thanks for doing this. We're really happy with what you did last weekend in Denver. Go out there and prove everybody wrong that you continue to kick some ass, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Looks like the Green 87 is in for an unscheduled pit stop.
It looks like an oil leak, Billy.
For more on the situation,
let's throw it to Mom in the pits.
Well, the Green 87 is in trouble, but it has a long history of finishing strong. So what's your game plan?
What the 87 driver knows is that Stop Leak has special additives that renews worn seals, reduces engine noise, and oil consumption to protect your engine.
Lucas Oil.